Okay, so lately I've been seeing this idea everywhere online that nobody wants to work anymore. You know what I mean? And it kind of makes you wonder, right? Like, is it just me or is there actually something bigger going on here?
Yeah, it's definitely got people talking. And honestly, it's way more than just a few people online.
Right.
We're seeing this pop up all over the place, and not just from one specific group. It really seems like it's tapping into something a lot of people are feeling right now.
It's like this shared sense of, I don't know, disillusionment, maybe, which is what we're going to try to unpack today. We've got a ton of comments from 4 different YouTube videos, and they all touch on this idea of people being fed up with work. But here's the thing, it's not as simple as just not wanting to work at all.
Right? It's way more nuanced than that. When you really listen to what people are saying, a lot of them aren't rejecting work itself. It's more like they're pushing back against a system that they see as broken.
Totally. And a lot of them back that up with, well, cold, hard facts.
Yeah.
Like there's this one comment from Patrick Hanley, and he says, it's not that nobody wants to work anymore, it's that employers don't want to pay people for the value of their work.
Yeah, and that feeling of being undervalued, it's huge. People want to feel like their work matters and that it's being fairly compensated. When that's missing, it's no wonder people get frustrated.
It's like the whole idea of work hard and you'll get ahead. It just doesn't seem to hold true for a lot of people these days. There's actually this comment that really stood out to me from a guy named Thomas Bruner, and he was talking about how back in 1971, he was making $2.65 an hour. And get this, he said that was enough for a car, an apartment, and AD, he could still save money.
It's kind of wild, right?
Yeah.
When you think about how far money went back then compared to now, even accounting for inflation, it's a real eye-opener. Like you can practically hear people in the comments saying, wait, you could buy what on that salary?
It makes you wonder, how did we get here? And more importantly, where do we go from here? If working hard isn't enough anymore, what's the solution?
Well, one thing kept popping up in the comments, and it's a bit of a doozy, is the whole CEO to worker pay ratio.
Oh yeah, that one's a biggie. So back in 1965, it was 21 to 1, which, don't get me wrong, is already a significant gap. But are you ready for this? Today, it's a whopping 344 to 1.
It's mind-blowing, right? No wonder so many people feel like they're running on a hamster wheel, working harder and harder, but not really getting anywhere.
So we've talked numbers, right? But it's pretty clear this whole work thing is about way more than just the money. There's this other layer to it, this feeling of like being used by these companies. You pour your heart and soul into your work, but do they actually care? It doesn't always feel like it.
It's true, and that's a recipe for burnout, right?
Yeah.
Feeling like just a number, easily replaceable. That emotional toll is huge.
Totally. And speaking of feeling like just a number, there's this one comment that really got to me. It was from Gentle Rebel, and they shared this story about a colleague who passed away suddenly. And the company, well, they acted like this person never even existed.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like a total gut punch. Makes you wonder what it all means, you know? Like, we put in all this effort, but are we really just cogs in the machine?
It's a tough question, and it's something we see reflected in a lot of the comments. People are craving that human connection, that sense of belonging and being valued. When that's missing, it's easy to feel lost and disillusioned.
Yeah, makes you wonder if there's a better way to do things, you know? And you know what's funny? Remember that whole skibbity toilet riz thing that was trending
Oh
online?
yeah, classic Gen Z.
I still don't totally get it, but it seems like it's all about finding ways to like work smarter, not harder.
It's basically about reclaiming your time and energy, right?
Right.
Pushing back against those pointless tasks or expectations that drain you without adding any real value.
Right. And like Caliber 50 said it best, I'm here for whatever Gen Z is doing to get more vacation time.
It's not just about vacation time, though, is it? It's about having the autonomy to design a work life that actually works for you.
100%. And some people are taking that idea even further, like spam flavor. Remember that one? They shared that after 27 years in this job that was just crushing their soul, they finally walked away, decided to prioritize their own well-being, family, all that good stuff.
And you know what? It sounds like they're actually thriving now. Happier, healthier. It's kind of a wake-up call, you know? Like maybe we do have more power than we think to change our situations, even if it feels scary or uncertain.
It's like you only have so much to give, right? And if your job is taking everything you've got, well, something's got to give. And for more and more people, it seems like that something is the job itself.
It's a big shift, for sure. Like for the longest time, it was all about pay your dues, climb the ladder, that whole thing. But now people are starting to question that, like maybe there's a different way.
Totally. And some people are finding that different way by, well, not working a traditional job at all. Like we saw a bunch of comments mentioning this thing called working to rule, which I'll be honest, I had to Google it.
It's kind of cool, actually. Basically, it's when workers decide, okay, we're just going to follow the rules to the letter. Nothing more, nothing less.
So it's kind of like a silent protest?
Exactly.
Uh,
It's a way to take back some control, without necessarily rocking the boat too much.
Interesting. And then, of course, you've got folks who are like, screw it, I'm going to be my own boss, taking that leap into entrepreneurship, making their own hours, all that.
Which makes a lot of sense when you think about it, right? People want flexibility. They want work that fits into their lives, not the other way around.
It's almost like we're redefining success, you know? It's not just about climbing that corporate ladder anymore. It's about finding something that aligns with your values, something that lets you live a life you actually enjoy, not just inside work, but outside of it too.
Absolutely. And that's something we saw a lot in the comments. This desire for work that's meaningful, for work that matters.
And maybe even more importantly, work that doesn't make you want to pull your hair out.
Right. Like your well-being matters.
Yeah.
Your time matters. You deserve a job that lights you up, not one that burns you out.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And, you know, it's been a really interesting conversation, this whole deep dive into, well, the state of work, right? And we've only just scratched the surface. But if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's that if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling burnt out, you're not alone.
Not at all. And the good news is you've got options. Maybe it's having an honest conversation with your boss about your needs. Maybe it's finally starting that side hustle you've been dreaming about. Or hey, maybe it's just channeling your inner skibbity toilet riz and finding a little more joy in your day-to-day. Whatever works, right?
Exactly. So to everyone listening, keep asking questions, keep challenging the norms, and most importantly, keep searching for that sweet spot where passion meets purpose.